Hi, my name is Jacob Goldfarb. Let's get a little closer just so you can hear me. Alright, right now we're on Grand and Christie. That's where the old Grand Street Theater is, or used to be. Not around anymore because of fires, and pretty much a lot of all of the theaters in the Yiddish theater district are non-existent anymore from fires. Now it's pretty much just Chinatown. But the Yiddish theater district, also known as the Jewish Rialto and the Yiddish Rialto, was the center of New York City's Yiddish theater scene in the early 20th century. It was located primarily on 2nd Avenue and went all the way up to like around Houston Street and then up to like 10th Street. The district hosted performances in Yiddish of Jewish, Shakespearean, classic, and original plays, comedies, operettas, and dramas, as well as vaudeville, burlesque, and music shows. The Grand Street Theater, they were also known for vaudeville shows as well as the theater. In 1903, the New York's first Yiddish theater was built, which was the Grand Theater. It hosted performance of vaudeville acts, movies, original plays, musicals, adaptations of Shalom Aleichem, and translations of Shakespeare, Ibsen, Tolstoy, and George Bernard Shaw. In addition to Yiddish theaters, the district had related music stores, photography studios, flower shops, restaurants, and cafes. So, for my project, I specifically wanted to talk about Jacob Gordon and Jacob Adler. Adler was an actor, and he was criticized for being too stagey, but he could always captivate an audience, and he displayed remarkable power in heroic roles. He was dissatisfied with the melodramas and operettas then in vogue, and looked for plays that gave him dramatic scope. He found them in the work of Jacob Gordon, a serious writer whose plays other actors had rejected. The two produced Gordon's Siberia and inaugurated what had been called the golden epic of Yiddish theater. They followed this success with Gordon's The Great Socialist, Der Yiddish King Lear, and Der Wildermensch. In these productions, Adler achieved a triumph which was capped by his appearance as Shylock in Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. In ensuing years, Adler controlled various theaters such as the People's and the Grand, where his children often performed with him. He interpreted serious plays, and we'll move on to talk about Gordon now. Gordon was known in two aspects. People recognized him as a man who had fought for a serious Jewish drama and had raised the Yiddish stage from a medley of vaudeville to something which appealed to the Lower East Siders by its truth and inevitableness. He landed here in 1891, penniless, and all he had was his education. As I said before, his first play was Siberia, and that was with Adler and opened in 1892. Neither actors nor audience were ready for it. They had been used to dances, songs without plot or true humor. They went to the theater to be amused and did not ask to be made to think. Immature as the play was, compared with Gordon's later works, it struck the note of realism. It brought before the house the life they had left in Russia. But they neither understood nor appreciated this style of entertainment. Gordon was met with fierce opposition. For years he hardly made a living, but when he died, the Yiddish theater district was filled with thousands and thousands of people for his funeral. So that ends our segment at the Grand Theater. We're gonna go walk up to the Hebrew Actors Union now. See you soon. All right, so right now we are on 2nd and Houston, right up the street. Actually, I said we were stopping at Hebrews Actor Union, but I lied to you guys. Sorry about that. We're actually stopping at the National Theater now. But some words on the walk up here from where we were, Grand Street to Houston Street. If you think back in the 1900s, it was filled with all theaters. And if it was a Friday night or Saturday night, there would have been people out on the streets drinking, just coming out of their shows. I could have stopped at certain locations to show you some of where the theaters were, but I mean they're all burned down. So I mean the best way to get a sense of what it was like back then is just to walk down the streets and like picture the people being drunk, people who can't speak English. And then another visual that I was picturing was all the thousands of people at Jacob Gordon's funeral. So the tour is more about just being here, feeling what it used to be. There's not much to see, but the National Theater was built as a twin piggyback theater. It was planned by Louis Minsky to be called the Unique Theater and be used for burlesque. However, when it was built to the designs of the noted theater architect Thomas Lamb, it opened on May 6, 1913 as the National Theater, and it seated 19,000 people. It was leased to Tomaszewski and Adler for use as a Yiddish theater. The upper theater had a seating capacity of 963 and was named the Crown Theater. Programming varied from Yiddish stage shows to burlesque, and it ran Russian films from 1936 to 1939, when the Crown Theater was renamed Roosevelt Theater. The building was closed in 1941 and was later reopened as two movie theaters known as the National Theater, seating 1,800 people, and Roosevelt Theater, seating 963 people. These closed in 1951 and lay empty until they were demolished in 1959 to become a parking lot. Alright, so now we're going to keep on walking uptown, and we are actually going to hit the Hebrew Actors Union. So I'll see you soon. Alright, so we just walked up 2nd Avenue, again passing many theaters on the way. Across the street over there is the Hebrew Actors Union, or the building where it was. The Hebrew Actors Union officially formed in 1899 as a craft union for actors in Yiddish theater in the United States, and it was the first actors union in the United States. In a 1925 article by the New York Times, they described the union as having, at that time, over 300 members, and notes that it has not only placed all of its members in good positions, but that it has also granted many privileges to non-members. It also notes that a great many members of the union are American-born, and all of them are thoroughly Americanized. The union represented performers, except musicians, who are engaged in the field of Hebrew or Yiddish language theater. Yiddish theater was at the height of its popularity in the 1920s and even in the 1930s. When Yiddish theater attendance had already started to decrease, the union claimed a robust membership, and there was enough of an audience to maintain quite a few Yiddish theaters throughout the country. A variety of factors including the Great Depression, the continued acculturation of American Jewish population, and the movement of Jewish audiences towards Broadway and motion pictures, and the lack of audiences accompanied the end of immigration combined to erode the audience of the Yiddish theater. Theaters began to close, theatrical seasons were cut short, and several of the biggest stars of the Yiddish theater were left for the non-Yiddish stage or Hollywood. Now we're gonna go up to where the 2nd Avenue Deli was, and we're gonna see the Yiddish Theater Walk of Fame. So right now we're outside where the 2nd Avenue Deli, the old one, used to be. It opened in 1954, by which time most of the Yiddish theaters had disappeared, and it thrived on the corner of 2nd Avenue and 10th Street. But it moved to different locations. The Yiddish Walk of Fame is on the sidewalk outside the location, and it honors Yiddish stars such as Molly Picone, Menashe Skolnick, singer and actress Boris Tomaszewski. So right now we'll go take a look at some of the names down here. Got like Jacob Adler right there. Maurice Schwartz. I'm gonna show you the Cinema Theater, which was his theater next. And you can just go down the line. See all of the names still here, some of them fading out. It's pretty cool. It's like Hollywood. Alright, so just walked up a couple blocks to 12th Street, 2nd Avenue. Village East Cinema, right there. The Village East Cinema, located right here, opened in 1926 as the Yiddish Art Theater in the heart of New York City's Jewish Rialto district. It was designed by prominent Brooklyn lawyer and Jewish community leader Louis Jaffe. The historic building was built as an elaborate 12,000-seat live theater for Yiddish theater pioneer Maurice Schwartz. The interior was designed in the Moorish revival style that was popular in synagogues at the time, and included a 40-foot ornamental ceiling with the spectacular Star of David in the center that's still present today. The Yiddish Art Theater housed elaborate productions from Maurice Schwartz and his troupe, such as The Tenth Commandment and Yoshakal, which ran for a record 300 performances. Schwartz's loyal following and festive, imaginative plays attracted such renowned guests as Albert Einstein, Charlie Chaplin, George Gershwin, and former New York City Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia. The building went through several names and incarcerations throughout the mid-1900s, including the Stuyvesant Theater, a film exposition house, and a stint as the East Village landmark, the Phoenix Theater, where it housed such as productions Old Calcutta, Grease, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, The Princess and the Pea, and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamboat. In 1992, the theater was restored and converted into the Village East Cinema, a beautiful 7-screen movie theater. Its sprawling, ornate main auditorium features stadium and balcony seating, as well as an oversized screen, and the theater remains one of New York City's best places to see a film. The upper and lower lobbies of the theater were beautifully renovated in 2006 and feature new concession stands and comfortable couches and lounge areas. So that's the last part of our walking tour. I hope that I gave you an idea of what Yiddish theater was like in the Yiddish theater district in the early 1900s. And thanks for joining. Woo!